Why would they want to talk to each other now?
I don't know. I do not like this.
Well,
But
is they
we're here.
here?
Not.
Yeah, we're
All right,
there.
you boys is good. You boys is good.
Well, I'll be damned.
You trust us, right, don't you?
Uh-huh. I do.
Gentlemen.
Mr. Omar, I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Jesse Bennett.
We don't need no introductions. This fella behind you, though.
Hola, amigo.
Who's your barber? What's that bullshit on your face? Anyway. Howdy, partner. Jesse Bennett.
Hola, amigo. My name is Pepe.
Pepe.
Mr. Pepe, it's nice to meet you. We formally met.
See you as well, senor.
Mr. Jamie Barlow, if you'd allow me, I'd say you grab that gun of yours and we step over to that roof over there so we're not so crowded.
Yeah, sure.
I'll lead the way. Or I suppose we can talk here to the left.
Matter to me.
Yeah, let's talk here. There's a nice opening.
We agreed on Jesse.
I wasn't informed that. But sure.
Thank you for
Everyone unarmed or just you two?
So us two's fine.
Okay, you want these guns or you mind if I give them to David?
Just lean them up against the wall.
Yeah.
I think that'll be fine. I ain't got the same apprehensions as you boys. I've got faith in the both of yous and everybody here. Well, I suppose I'll say a few words before we begin. I know that y'all don't need no introduction, but over to the left we have here what I consider, to my left, one of the, if not the most significant place in all of New Austin, strategically. New Baton Rouge. And its proprietor, Mr. Jesse Bennett. To the right, we have at its head someone that transcends places. He bears the name of Mr. Barlow Sr., Mr. Henry Barlow. A man whose reputation is studied and whose legend knows no bounds. The great revolutionary. This here is his son, Mr. Jamie. Well, that's about what I got to say for now. My name's Mr. Thursday Case. We here, I hope, to discuss and to agree upon New Western Republic.
I ain't got no formalities. How have you been, Jesse? Since last we saw each other.
Well, partner, I'd say it's been as good as I possibly could be after all that mess that done transpired. New Baton Rouge is turning to be a bustling little town filled with commerce and trade.
So
Lots
I've
of fresh
heard.
faces.
Done it. Built something for yourself. You always talked about it. Mr. Case here wants us to be friendly because the new Western Republic, and on that, I agree with him. I'm willing to work with New Baton Rouge for the good of the Republic. But I only have one condition. When we form this new country, the new Western Republic, there will be no trade with the Dawsons. And if they are to step foot in the new Western Republic, they ought to be charged with treason. That's my only term.
Well, how you propose we get our oil then?
Sure, Mr. Case can speak on that.
Well, rumor has it that Mr. Cassius Creed down here in Fort Mercer has already cut a deal with Sheriff Santiago to have the rights to begin drilling the oil here. I must say, Mr. Jamie Barlow, those are some tough terms. Those are some mighty tough terms. We don't know if the oil here is going to be ready and refined enough for use. And it might be a long time before that oil makes its way to our refineries and put to use. But I suppose they're your terms.
Yeah, I just figure we need oil. I don't really care where it come from. Building boats. But that oil, they're just a fucking prop. We got oil. That's, that condition's fine with me, mon frère. C'est bon.
Say bon. Do got a question for you, Jesse. See them Dawson boys, they grew quite big for their britches, for their boots, quite too big. Count of Asher and myself handing over Red Rock, giving them access to that mine. Making money Western folk could only dream of. I understand how important Thieves Land in New Baton Rouge will be to the Republic. You're gonna make a lot of money, Jesse. How do I know you ain't gonna rebel like they did?
You think
We're
I'm
there.
that dumb to throw something away over a fucking sheriff? You know, I know, we all know there's ways to get shit done, get a sheriff, get a man like that killed that don't fall back on you. Within 2 days, I already had goons lying around I didn't care about that could get something like that done. Shit like that, you don't do it yourself.
I mean,
Besides, go ahead, David.
to be fair, Jamie, how do we know once this is all said and done, you ain't just gonna gun us down? Leave us to die? There's a lot of bad blood between us. A lot of shit's happened. Now all of a sudden we willing to work together.
And to build on that, since you're questioning me, how do I know you're not gonna go drop some fucking files that just fucks everything up for everybody? Cause them files, boy, it was a real blunder.
Sure, if you
Not
see
even
it
a
that
word with
way.
me, partner. After all
Not
that,
even
not
a
even a
word.
word.
So you stood there that day, arguing at how dumb the Dawsons were moving. And you acted surprised when I put them down. You heard Charles himself say, I will do whatever the fuck I want. Bring as much heat down that way as I want. Those fuckers had to go.
They had to go, partner, but it was gone about the entire wrong way. Look at the fallout. Look at what happened. Look at what happened after that. The whole point of this is the union's dirty. You should have seen that coming, them getting an oil field, all this power.
The
They was
union's
fucking
dirty.
up. They was fucking up, Jamie, but they was still in the palm of your hand. That was not the call.
Why'd you wait in a fucking 2-hour queue to go talk to them? Collaborate some story to pin it all on me. That's why I dropped them files. I'ma get burnt. Everyone will. And on top of that, those files weren't only for that. They served another purpose. One which I'm sure you are very well aware of. Just over my shoulder, there's a town over there. One that we still got control of.
Yeah, I know. That's why it's a blunder. I know you was covering for Santi. I'm not a dumbass. Everybody knows. That's the problem. It's real obvious what you was doing with them files, and well, it takes a special kind of fuckwit to not read between the lines there.
All right, then why is Santi still there?
For now,
So I'm a dumbass, but we still got control. Tell me how that works.
who knows what's gonna happen? What I'm saying is people know. People know Santi's involved, and them files don't clear his name.
Well, we're at where we're at.
If I may speak on that, I don't think it's as clear, Mr. Jesse. Maybe it is to you. But Mr. Jamie's correct. It's bought some time.
It's bought some time, but it made a whole lot more enemies.
Mr. Jamie, I must say that time's running out for you on account. I want to show you something. This here is a handbill with your name on it. That's authorized by the U.S. government. Now, at the moment, I is the only one with that handbill. But sooner or later, they're going to understand that I ain't bringing you in. And they's fixing to pass those out to every damn man in the territory. And sooner or later, even Mr. Santiago is going to have to show that it ain't a facade. The reason I say is that is, gentlemen, there isn't much time left. I figure the clock is ticking. What happened between the Dawsons, I wasn't here for, but maybe it was good that it happened. They got those that wasn't committed to the West out. But there's an opportunity here I ain't never witnessed in all my years. The opportunity for independence. Mr. Jesse Bennett here is sitting at the furthest point of the Western Republic, the last and first stop before the Union. This man over here to my left and his men will be in the most vulnerable position if a declaration is made of our independence. If anyone hopes to have an independent and separate union in the West, is going to have to work with these gentlemen to my left. And if we happen to succeed, when we succeed, that point will also be the most profitable. Now, knows Mr. Jesse, that profit is something you and your men are after. All the Spanish doubloons and gold and oil and all the minerals pulled out of Gaptooth Mine and the other mines and everywhere else will pass through there, and anyone in the entire territory that wants a piece of what the West got will have to come to New Baton Rouge. But none of that will happen without Mr. Barlow, Mr. Omar, and his compatriots. Because in this man is the spirit of the rebellion. Right here's a terrorist. At least that's what they try to paint him as. But that's the son of Mr. Barlow Sr. And as long as he's alive, well, many Barlows will spring up in his place like us. Now, since it's been said here that Santiago is working with Mr. Barlow, and that he's covering for him, that shows that there's still a lot of momentum. But gentlemen, I'd like to tell you if this thing's gonna work, it's gotta be done in the right way. In a way it hasn't been done in the last 30 years since the Western Republic was lost. There's gotta be official documentation. And if we're to have a proper separatist movement, there's gonna need to be some development and infrastructure. So that it's not just a bunch of rebels, but the Union's gotta recognize they're dealing with an entire independent state. Those states will have its own provinces. That's important. We're fixing to draft a declaration of our independence, stating what we believe to be ours and our rights. That will legitimize this movement beyond something that's just rebels. That declaration will have the signatures of all those who's going to put their necks on the line. There's got to be some sort of command structure. There's going to be organization. There's going to be the entire mobilization of everything west of Blackwater. We're talking mines, oils, uniforms, guns, outposts, all of it. And sooner or later, the Union's going to understand it. They're not dealing with a ragtag group of gangs. That our new Western Republic has the backing of not only the collective West, but that of old Spain and the Spanish crown of Mexico.
You always wanted something for yourself, Jesse. I reckon you got it. Ever since you was a boy, I always told you about my pa's vision. I truly am doing this for my people. I don't give a fuck about power after this. As a matter of fact, after the war, if we both manage to survive, I'm looking forward to living out my life as a civilian of the new Western Republic. This is for everyone. It's always been that way.
I mean, I think the question still remains, though, Jamie. How can we trust you?
Oh no, I trusted Jesse with my life. I'm always hard, Rhino Herb. Wake up hard, go to bed hard. Allow me to be soft. As I was bleeding out that day, seeing him get on his horse and ride away, well, that broke my heart. So forgive me if I was pissed off at a boy that I've known since he was up to my chest. But I'm here, ain't I? Unarmed, willing to shake hands for the good of everyone. Trust is something earned. It's gonna take quite some time to rebuild. I'm willing to do it, David. You was there every town hall meeting. I met every word I said. This truly is for everyone here.
I mean, I believed it, and I see why maybe you feel some type of way toward Jesse, but you done put me in them files. What did I do to you? I didn't get no telegram, nothing. Eamon in the files as well. He didn't do nothing to you. And there was people explicitly left out of them files.
Like who?
Like
Santiago?
Wyatt. Like Wyatt.
Oh, no, he's mentioned.
He's not implicating anything in them. Me and Eamon are.
We could sit here and argue over and over, but I knew you was gonna be at Jesse's side, David.
Well, you never asked. You never asked where I stood. We never had a conversation, Jamie. I only heard one side of the story.
Put yourself in my boots for a second, David, would you? We have eyes on Blackwater, watching everyone go down there to visit them Dawsons. Waiting in 2-hour queues to go talk to them. All in the meantime, I ain't receiving shit. On a telegram,
You know
just
why
like
I
you're
did that,
saying.
Jamie?
Why?
You know why? 'Cause that day, that shootout, I said, fuck this shit, leave me out of it. I watched Santi run around trying to execute them boys. Like I said, I didn't agree with that play. And I saw the writing on the wall that day. The very next day, I'm riding around Blackwater. Santi comes up to me and says, how's New Baton Rouge? How's it doing? Hope it stays that way. But that toner here is threatening my life. All he had to do was a conversation. Leave things up in the air. Give me some time to fucking think. Maybe you think I shouldn't deserve that. I don't need that. I should be on your side 24/7, all day, every day. Stay hard, maybe. But this fucker comes around threatening my fucking life. After what he did, losing his cool like that, acting like a loose cannon, sure as shit I believed him. I took that seriously. Now, if we're doing this shit, partner, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. We're doing this shit. We're doing this shit. New Baton Rouge is in it either fucking way. Whether I say no here, this shit's happening.
That's
We're gonna be in the
fact.
middle of a war zone either way, and damn if I'm fighting for some Union fucking dogs. I seen the way they get down. Know the words Charlie said that day. I agree with him. I'm not living under the boots of no fucking marshals.
Was never the plan, Jesse. Was never
I
the
know.
plan.
I know. The problem there was real simple. Everybody wasn't on the same page. Lots of people was being dumb. Let's make sure that don't fucking happen this time. Because I'm bringing a lot of fucking people to the table. And a lot of them folk, I don't want to see them in the middle of this, but like I said, it's happening either way. I'm gonna make sure I keep them safe to the best of my ability.
We're
Now
two
I heard
men.
something to... Go ahead. Go
We're
ahead.
two men looking out for what's the best of our people. We could sit here and argue all day long, disagreements here, disagreements there, but that should be something we shake hands over right there. That's the shit that'll move mountains.
I can shake hands to that.
believe perhaps we are settled. We unify before we are unionified.
Now that's deep, Mr. Omar. Has anyone got anything else to say?
I got one more thing. When this all said and done, let's say we succeed. How's that gonna look? Is there gonna be one person in charge of everything, one person we gotta answer to? Or is New Baton Rouge completely independent?
Well, this is where things start to get a little bit more complex. And this is the organization that I was talking about, certain infrastructure. I've been giving this a lot of thought, and I figured the only way this is going to work, it would be a united confederacy, meaning there would be independent Confederate states. You would have Baton Rouge with its leadership. You obviously have Armadillo, Tumbleweed, and whatever districts or areas develop. Hell, it might only be 3, might only be 2.
Council of Kings.
Something of that sort. Now, each one's going to have its own independent interests, ways of moving, but they will have a collective obligation. If certain alarms are rung, they're going to be expected to support. And vice versa. On account of each separate state, if it don't have the support of the others, it'll fall. Now, as far as the collective, well, I'm fixing to be the governor of that collective. And that's my aim in this whole game. I think I got the political experience to manage it.
Thank fuck, 'cause politics bore me.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
As long as it's not David.
Lazy ass mayor.
What the hell's wrong with these?
Lazy ass mayor.
Yeah,
Now-
he did nothing for the week that he was mayor. I'll tell you that much.
Now, listen, let's not slander our revolutionaries here. Case, I want to hear more about the Spanish.
Well, Mr. Jesse, here's the deal. This land was able to stay quote-unquote independent for as long as it did because the Spanish crown through Mexico has been supporting it on account they understand that this here land's got all the gold. And maybe they even knew about the oil reserves. Now, the Spanish is famous for their gold. Hell, that's why they conquered Mexico, Peru, all of the Americas, and hell, why much of the United States was once theirs. That support's going to be crucial. There was a certain man, Esteban, from what I understand, that was being supported, but he was routed out by you gentlemen. It was a mighty fine play by the Union. But that Esteban, thank goodness, is still alive. I won't tell you where, but we've even discovered where he's being held. Mr. Esteban's gonna be released. With his release, I figure we can muster up a lot of the support through Mexico. That's the sort of backing that we're continuously gonna need. On account of a small province ain't much for the U.S. government, though we can be a proper nuisance. But with the united collective backing of the Spanish crown, we become much more formidable. There's also going to have to find investors, bring them here and have them lay stake. There will be a preliminary period, I believe, weeks, maybe even months of certain hostilities. Hell, the Union might even fail and decide not to fight, not initially. There might be certain treaties drawn temporarily. First thing we've got to do is get Esteban. Second thing we've got to do is prepare the infrastructure. start to extract all the minerals, the resources, and start to smith the weapons that we need. Supply lines, all of that. And once all that's prepared, well, the declaration of our independence should be known.
Now, what's to stop our old pal Esteban from getting busted out of that prison, wherever he's held, and having some problems with me and Jamie here on account of we slaughtered all of his fucking army?
Well, you see, we used to play poker back in the day, Jesse. All my goddamn chips are on the table. I'm all in. That fucker may turn a gun and just blow my brains smooth out. But I got two things to offer him. One, his freedom. And two, the corrupt marshal that led the charge that day.
Crenshaw.
That's the one. On top of that, you're gonna have to give that fucker a position of power in the Western Republic. I'm thinking something of a general of our army. It's his men after all. He's got a lot more across the San Luis.
Yeah, we will need his men. Suppose a fella like that would like a new, shiny title.
I mean, keep in mind, if we do that and he's still got bad blood over what happened, give him too much power, ain't nothing stopping him from slaughtering us all after it's over.
I know we put down his men once.
Yeah, he's small fish compared to the Union. Use him and disregard him.
Everything Kay said is the truth. We all need each other. This happens once in 30 years. It'll never happen again. It's now or never.
Mr. Esteban, if he was involved in politics the way he sounds like he is, he's got to understand, and I'm sure he does, or I hope so, that sometimes in politics you got to have a short memory. It ain't uncommon for two nations to war with each other, and directly after the war become the closest allies. If the country that's backing them understands that they might have the Western Republic back again, they'll make sure to keep them in check, I'm sure of it. He's a general who's lost. It ain't personal, I hope. Now, there's going to be a lot of folk in between that ain't going to participate in the combat, and that's something that y'all should expect.
Of course, we country building. Citizens are going to be the most important thing, the backbone.
I believe the key question here that we should set is, when do we intend on announcing our independence?
Well, I'd like to mention what I mentioned to you, Case, about that whole thing about making this look like the Union's fault to garner some support for our cause. I think that's integral to this plan. Because right now, you know, you got Jamie riding around there on the lam looking like a barbarian. I don't think that's gonna win some people over.
Well, go on, son. Extrapolate.
That was throwing that out there so we can all discuss. I ain't got shit.
Well, I
got
think
no
that's
idea.
That's a mighty good point.
It was stale.
What was?
That fucking
Right.
loaf of bread he threw at my head.
What the hell does extrapolate mean?
Well, it just means talk more on it. Because the kid, Mr. Jesse's got a point. All the newspapers, well, they're going to be gobbling this up. And the press like never before. And if we can frame this somehow in our favor, I think Jesse's onto something. Considering that when the independence is declared, there's going to be a lot of folk flocking, either to fight against or to fight with. Which means that we're going to need to also, and this might be putting the cart before the horse and getting far too detailed prior to, we're going to have to understand who's fighting and who's not. There's going to be uniforms, regiments, an organization to that degree. But I say this again, when is we going to make this declaration?
Well, I reckon today we parade Esteban through town.
Shouldn't we give...
partner, they gonna know we up to something when we break him out of federal prison, wherever the fuck he is.
Is there a way we can buy him some time to build up his fucking number again? Because he's only useful with an army.
Well, Mr. Jesse, if it's going to be mighty hard once he's released not to know that he's out.
Yeah.
But what we could do is we can batten down the hatches and try to resist as long as possible till this man is able to lift an army. And if he can't, well, that might just be our end. I'll be
Fantastic.
damned. That's a mighty big gamble.
That's a sad gamble. But yeah, listen, what if we get word to the fucking Spanish before?
Mr. Jesse, I think you're onto something.
Know what do you think of that? Please tell us somebody thought of that.
I did, but I reckon they'll be mighty happy that folks are getting him out, but the folks that might be getting him out, they might not like.
Say that again, son?
I was saying, I'm sure the Spanish would be happy that he'd be getting out, but the folks that would be getting him out, didn't we have issues with Esteban's men?
Come on,
We
Crookshank.
slaughtered them.
Yeah, yeah. They might not. They might just say "fuck you guys" and y'all can rot. But
That is what I was thinking. I mean, I like the thought process, but it's like herding cats without Esteban. They are not going to trust us.
But
it's
we might
worth
be
it.
their only hope to get Esteban back to his people. But then who's to say Esteban's not going to fuck us over?
There's no telling. There's no saying he won't. But I
Yeah.
think Jamie was right.
Kind of have to.
He's going to be given his freedom. He's going to be given a second chance. And all we ask of him is that he continues doing what he was doing. That's better than dying.
Yeah.
And if he's backed by the crown, and that's who he's being employed by, it's not his choice. It's the choice of his superiors.
That's right.
Yeah.
If he has an opportunity to get a foothold in this West, and he throws that away on account of a personal grievance, I promise you, son, the
Call him
Mexican
Esteban
and
Dawson.
the Spanish superiors will rip his throat right out, far worse than we will.
Is this possible without Esteban? Let's say breaking him out fails. Let's say he's killed on the way out. What happens then?
Well, I suppose it's going to be a lot harder, but
We all die.
we've got to be prepared for it. If we have the good enough infrastructure, if we have enough stock of supplies, our routes are protected, and we have allies in the east that we're gonna need. I suppose we got a good shot. It's only been 30 years. 30 years. And if it wasn't for y'all taking Esteban out, hell, this could have been the Western Republic already.
Yeah, I won't argue against that. Those marshals were using us, me, like a pawn. That the Dawsons were right about.
Mr. Omar, what you think?
I think the time for worrying for what possibly could happen, should this happen, should that happen, will only hinder us, will only weigh us down. In the long history of the frontier that we have been here, gentlemen, for those of us that know each other, we know each other, we can trust each other to be men and women of action. And even if there are some lingering doubts between persons here, perhaps those are right. Perhaps we have no strong reason to trust each other, but what we can trust in each other is that we both want this as much as the other person. That everything is on the table, everything has been laid out here and now. And now we must act. Jesse, you will... Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
Jesse will build up New Baton Rouge into a powerful port from which trade will come to and fro. And us, we will deal with the matter of Esteban. And once these pieces come together, we shall declare ourselves with the aid of yourself, Mr. Case. And once that is completed, together, we will live the dream that our forefathers have fought for so long ago. And we will ensure that it will thrive, that it will prosper.
Well, that's mighty well said, Mr. Omar. Mighty beautiful. I think we said all we could say today, and if there's no more that anyone is fixing to add, I think we can conclude here for now. On account of there's a lot of work to do. As soon as we leave here, the folk Armadillo is ready to go out mining. Mr. Gabriel's crafted many pickaxes. Mr. Santiago's got the paperwork done to transfer the ownership of the mine, and the wagon's ready.
Like Little Rock all over again, Jesse.
Look at that. How the West was won. All over again.
Next week, I'll have a rendition drafted for the Declaration to be reviewed and approved by all those here and more of those who wish to stay and lay the claim of the West. With that said, I'll be heading to Armadillo. If anyone wishes to come on and mine to begin this movement, Be my guest. I beg of you.
David, that's all you. Getting them mines, boy.
Oh yeah, no, to see the way that I got a little back problem. On my
I'll
knee.
do it.
Yeah,
I'll
get
do
used
it.
to
I don't
this
mind.
shit.
Come on, Crookshanks. That's what I'm talking about.